Gathered here for a round table to discuss robotic technology at SteelFab 2019. As you all know, robotics is changing the way industries work today, and the steel fabrication industry is also following suit. SteelFab has been the region's premier trade event, and we have witnessed this shift with more and more exhibitors featuring robots over the last few editions. Now we have gathered together some experts from our exhibitors who are showing robots on the show floor, and we have created this session for an open discussion on sharing views on how the robotic industry is shaping up in the Middle East, what do they think about it for the future, as well as to create some market potential for this exciting technology of robots in the immediate and near future. Now I will be asking some general questions, and I will ask the company to answer it. You can choose which of you all would like to answer it, and you will start answering by giving your full name, your company's name, and your designation. Please feel free to expand on anything, and after my list of questions, if you feel that there are more topics worth discussing, please feel free indeed. As I said, this is an open discussion just to give an impetus to robotics in the Middle East. If you all are ready, we can start now. Each table has one mic, so you need to share the mic when required. I will start probably with ABB Robotics, and robotics is seen across various industries worldwide. And what is the role of robots in the steel fabrication industry?
For steel fab, we are showcasing here a welding and cutting application with 2 robots. And in the market, here we are using robot for welding and cutting. Basically, a robotic arm can be used for several applications. But when it comes to welding and cutting, there are different process intact we need to align with the robot. So for example, if we are doing welding, so through the robot movement we need to align motion, we need to align the welding process also. So we have separate parameters setting through our softwares, wherein we can get accurate path with welded. So in the same concept for cutting also, we have different processes, different software, where cutting can be done with the set points. Now when it comes to metal fabrication, these are majorly used application in the companies.
They are in the metal cutting industry, and what do you have to say about robotic applications in the Middle East?
We represent universal robots, and we address the different segment of the applications here. So where robotics predominantly is being used in the fabrication industry, whereas we try to use universal robots as a collaborative robots. That means human-friendly robots which doesn't require any safety nets, so that it can be used for assembly stations, assembly of any type of fast-moving group or food and beverages, end-of-line packing, so that it can safely work along with the people. That's what we are aiming to address the market in Middle East, which I feel that okay, the mundane works, which is being done very repeatedly and very tiresome jobs by the humans, and maybe there's some unsafe jobs too, can be eliminated with the use of collaborative robots. That's the space we are looking at it in the Middle East.
Yeah, like I said, for example, in welding, especially here, welding metal industry is the main focus right now, especially in growing markets such as the Middle East. This is always a major application that is in high demand. But for example, Kawasaki itself, our robots exist in almost all imaginable applications. For example, right now we have a strong footprint in the automotive industry, especially in Asian markets, many major brands that you might know. And of course we cover everything from welding to press tending handling, but also more challenging applications such as painting or semiconductors. So there's really, wherever the region is growing to, the robotics can assist in many ways.
The next question I will divert again to Kawasaki robots. What technologies, machinery has robotics already replaced? And which are the technologies, machineries which robots will replace in the future?
Works mostly there where very simple or monotonous tasks are asked, and of course where the tasks are hazardous for the workers, where there's a harsh environment, where there's heavy payloads involved. So for example in applications such as welding, palletizing, painting, which have a huge strain on the people working there. So for the future the big question always is, because is robotic replacement profitable? Because basically all applications can be robotized and automated if it makes sense in a physical way, and for example if there's a constant high quality in demand.
How do you see the change in technology in robotics for welding, especially since Cruise provides a complete solution in welding?
Cruise is basically a welding company. We are proud to say that this year we are completing 100 years. So there's 100 years of welding behind us, started in 1991. It's a German-based company. Regarding welding, with robotics, it has to do something which a human being was doing or even better than that. And this is where one important aspect is people who do robotics should also know welding very well. And this is where Cruise comes from, because we pioneer in welding, and we have developed our own robo. So both of them speaking in the same language and interacting with each other gives a better coordination and a better output. In building, Cruise has already, many years back, you can say, already done something like artificial intelligence built into the robot by having sensors like arc seam sensing, tactile sensing through nozzles, which could help the robot weld at the right place in the right way. Recent days, of course, there are collaborative robots which can work with us, and with Industry 4.0, we have a lot of traceability which is possible with the robots, and this helps in getting better welding quality.
My question again to ABB Robotics. So with all this evolution in the industry and the manufacturing taking a new turn today, what does the future hold in store for robots in the steel fabrication, metalworking industry, and what is the next generation evolution we can expect?
So I'm really excited about being here, and I'm excited also about Industry 4.0 and the industrial revolution we're talking about, and robotics sits perfectly within this plan, leading the future of the industry. What we are talking about coming in the future is robotics working together with human beings to create better, reliable industry environment. And what I really expect that robotics are going to generate more jobs and different jobs for the future. And it's going to drive also evolution in the skill set we have across the industry and also within education. So robotics, if you look at it from global perspective even, the countries that is running with the highest intensity and utilization of robotics, the country running with the lowest ever unemployment rates. So you are going to create better jobs, different jobs for the future. You have reliable industry, efficiency, and also in many applications we ensure safety by using robotics. And you will see robotics in logistics, in medical centers, not only in the industry. So it's a journey, and robotics is leading the journey to the future.
There is a line of thought which looks at robots replacing human jobs. Anybody would want to speak on that? Please feel free.
We see that robotics is going to create jobs. And it's all about factory automation, that you need to play it in the right way. That's it, okay? It's not going to only create jobs. Certain jobs might divest, okay? You don't need these kind of jobs anymore. So if I'm talking even about myself and the level of education I got over the years, Normally you change 2 different positions in your career, 3 different positions. The new generations has to learn how to change 5, 6 different positions. They have to be equipped with completely different knowledge, okay? So robotics are going to create new jobs. This is what we see, and it's evident across different countries like Germany, Singapore, where you see heavy utilization of robotics in these countries, and the lowest ever unemployment rates, and the quality of life and the quality of products and services you are getting from the industry is even sitting at a completely different benchmark now.
And just a perspective, we are from Germany, so in Germany we are one of the major robotics countries in Europe, in the world. We have per 10,000 people, we have 300,000 robots. 300 robots, would be nice, maybe in the future. And of course in Germany, rest of Europe, and also in Japan, our home country, we have the problem of the demographic change. So the society is getting older. Is what I mentioned earlier, those challenging jobs that are hazardous for your health, for example, like palletizing, which for older people who have problems with their back, it's a huge problem. And so robots can act in these areas that are not exactly desirable jobs anymore. And we need robots to assist and to be competitive in the future. So I would say they do not replace people in a way, but they fill voids that have increased in the recent years.
Thank you, Mark.
In fact, the robots will help in filling up the gap where skilled people were required, like welders are no longer available, and welding is one area where nobody wants to work anymore. And with robots, we are able to do that. Much better quality job, much faster job, less space requirement, and these workers can do a higher level job, programming the robots or even developing new robots.
I'm coming from Egypt, and we are starting to heavily utilize robotics in Egypt, and the country is very touchy when it comes to unemployment or even cutting certain jobs, especially within the government, when you need to drive efficiency in the industry. But it's clear that you need to utilize human beings in a better shape. So jobs that needs creativity, these are the jobs that we are looking forward to utilize the people and the skill set that we have across our nation. For repetitive jobs or jobs where you have no creativity, where it is not, from health and safety point of view, it's not adequate for people, like lifting applications in logistics where you have to carry heavy loads, in industry, in metals or in cement and aluminium where we have high temperature liquids and applications like this. You don't have to utilize human for these kind of applications. You can use robotics, it's more efficient, more safe and more reliable.
I don't think it will replace any of the manpower. In fact, I'm from India, where the 1.3 billion plus, okay, we have a lot of manpower. But the thing is, it is going to replace the work which is unsafe, and which are the very mundane and pick and play system daily we see in our life in India, especially in the end of line segment. Any small scale industries too, there's a lot of physical work is being done day to day for years. All those jobs can be completely streamlined, and then those people can be employed in some thinking, some intelligent ways of working elsewhere. So I don't think it will really replace the manpower. It's only going to shift to other better jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. The discussion is becoming very interesting. So now I'll just raise the question. What do you all think about the cost of robotics? Generally, with economies of scale, we see when more of the same products are manufactured, there is a decrease in cost. So if you compare the last 5 to 7 years, do you see the cost of robots having come down for the end user? Is it more affordable? Your views, please.
Only this question has to be the first.
Thank you.
What is the cost? And then they ask what's the application. And I think the right question here should be, will the value of the robot be more rather than the cost of the robot? Finally, it's not the cost which matters, how much output it can give and what benefit it can give to the user. So what's every industry and what we are developing and everybody in robotics is developing is a robot which is becoming more and more intelligent, more faster, more collaborative and more reliable and that brings in more value for the user. So it's moving in that direction. Whether the investment cost is low or high, that is directly proportional to what value it will add. And this is what I think is the right question. Answer.
Because this is a very interesting topic for us, and one where we have to be very careful on next steps for the future, because a bit closer, yeah. Yeah, for example, you asked the question, are robots more affordable? I would say definitely yes, but this comes with a price for us as a manufacturer, because we have reached a low point when it comes to pricing, and we need to stabilize that price in the next few years, because the serial production of robots have made it possible for those low costs to come across, but we have reached, from our point of view, we have reached a maximum level of that. So with those low costs, in the future, R&D might not be possible to the extent we need, and would not provide the innovation that we and the industries we serve need. So there needs to be a stabilization of the price. For example, you see right here, a little souvenir I bought. This is our welding robot. Right now we are selling it, including the welding equipment, for less than 25,000 euros, which is actually, we could not hold up this kind of pricing forever just for this fair, but this is something for the near future we can't keep doing, because it will not work out in the end. And I guess it's the same with my colleagues from other companies. In order to stay competitive, to survive, and also to evolve, we need to have competitive pricing that will also allow us to research and develop new technologies.
Same as any new technology when you introduce it to the market. Same goes for control systems and automation. When we first introduced this solar technologies, it was highly quite expensive in the beginning, and as long as the technology evolves and you go with mass production, and then you bring also technology into production and you increase your spending in R&D, you can optimize the costs with several mass production. But the other side of the story is the overall equipment efficiency index for a plant using a robot. Can you compromise in safety? Can you compromise in quality of your products? Can you compromise the quality and safety in food, as an example? What would be the consequences if you have lost production, or you have a fatality case in one plant, as an example? All right. This you cannot overlook, and you cannot compare. Okay. So from cost point of view, the cost base definitely got optimized, and also there are a lot of values that robotics utilization will bring into the scene that you cannot overlook.
It's the same thing what happens to the mobile phones. Whether you can keep the cost down and get the market, or you can keep on adding features to the product and make it more reliable and get a high price out of it.
I would like to see differently. Instead of seeing that initial cost is very high or something like that, or bringing down the cost of robotics when you go for a volume, rather than that, we can address it. What is the return on, return on investment? What do you get? As he said that, ABB said that, okay, you have to look at it is going to give the very short period for a return on investment, because you will have consistency, the quality, and the productivity very high. That will make you completely economical and viable for anybody to go in for robotics.
Very close to markets which can provide us with mass and cheap labor. You can bring in people from India, from Southeast Asia, from Africa at very low cost. But yet we have seen robots being progressively accepted, and I can see more and more people showcasing robots on my show floor, which means they must be selling it to somebody. So how has the Middle East market changed? What has happened in the last 4 or 5 years which has all of you here?
But I can start with that I've seen robotics in applications that I've never imagined. 3 years ago that I would see robotics in a chocolate factory, as an example, in painting and welding application in Egypt, in Africa, in a laboratory for a cement plant. So you will start to see robotics leading the way, even in low-cost markets, if you would like to look at it, because it brings really significant value to the operations, cost saving, reliability in operations across different industry verticals and even light industry applications.
So in Middle East, probably like he said, we can concentrate more on and narrow down our focus, where you can do material handling, and fast-moving consumer goods industry. And also, we can use robot as a part of a whole automated solution. As as our future is moving very fast towards Industry 4.0, and you can actually come and look at our stall. We have demonstrated an application for Industry 4.0, where our robot is talking with the PLC, and that in turn is talking to a stick marking machine. So we can also include robot as a part of a whole automated solution for various applications, and that can probably take us through.
We can see that the markets in the Middle East are becoming more competitive actually. So the higher technology products is required more and more. And the robotics is giving more accuracy, repeatability of the products. So this will give more chance to the competition in the market. So of course it will be required more and more. As my colleague Mr. Diwan, he mentioned that the regular phones before it was essential, but now it is not available, and the smartphones are the used equipment. So artificial intelligence is improving, and also the smarter management of labors, because the labors now are becoming more smarter. It is not only a regular welding with old technologies with less accuracy and less repeatability figures. So we are actually facing a smarter labor management in the future. Thank you.
Robots, can they work continuously, or what is the downtime on robots? So the person who invests in robots, what does he do in the downtime?
Actually, customers are demanding 98% plus, most 98% plus uptime. There are factors, most of the time it is down because of the factors from the customer's own side. Either they don't have the material, or they are not planned their production properly. So I think any robo, even if it does 90% plus in this part of the world, is also good enough. But now with, again, coming back to the way the robots can communicate over the internet, and it can be serviced remotely, so uptime has drastically improved. Because there are a lot of ways. Person need not really come on the site and repair it. You can look into the robo from far away, and that brings a high uptime. So, most of the robots are designed for 100% continuously welding or cutting or whatever.
Just to add something here, because this is a really major factor, because downtime is always the big question when it comes to is a robot.
I fired my staff and got a robot, and now the robot doesn't work.
Exactly.
What do I do?
And if the robot doesn't work, the whole production line stands still for how long? For hours, for days, and that's the worst case scenario. So over the last few years, since we've been active in the region here, major aspect, for example, in Germany and Europe, we take care of service. Service is a major factor through ourselves, our distributors. So we make sure there's a hotline, there's everything people need to make sure that their production is safe, which also includes the right tools like our track manager, which is a maintenance prediction tool, making sure that any downtime is predicted properly. So you can make sure that the repairs are made, that you know in front and you're not surprised by it. And that's the same approach we're trying to implement here through our service partners that we have here, that we're building up slowly in Dubai, but in the entire region. And so, yeah, and this is in high demand because, yeah, like mentioned earlier, this is downtime is the worst case scenario, the longer it takes, and we have to avoid this wherever it's possible.
So most of the time, if we educate customer properly, if we stress more on spare part, requirement of spare part, and if we educate customer, like if some problem happens on the robot, how we can come out, how we can report to OEM. So that will save a lot of time. So like in total, that if the downtime will take some time to recover, maybe we can add up some routines in the robot, so that in the meantime we can use that robot for this particular cases. That is one point. Second point, if a robot is connected to cloud, or nowadays everything is possible to connect to internet. So that will also save, from the customer point of view, we can also say that robot is connected with us every 24/7, and we can assure you that if you do these things, robot will not have any downtime. But that is subjected to the, that customer has to handle that robot with that way. Thank you.
Any moving mechanical parts or electronic items are subjected to failure one time or other. But the thing is how well equipped we are as a OEM and as well as the customers too. In fact, the customers should obey the guidelines of the OEM. If we take care of the proper preventive maintenance, and then of course in future we'll have a predictive maintenance through Industry 4.0, so we can change the parts very well in advance even before the parts fail. If we take care of all these things, and if you have a systematic approach to this robotics also, I think we can guarantee maybe 98% plus, but 100% is a dream.
If you use the right procedures for maintenance, and if they follow the right safety factors and use it in the right way, your car can keep on running for 100,000 kilometers also, or 200,000 kilometers also without any problem.
We have traditional fundamental points here to measure when it comes to downtime, which is mainly mean time between failure and mean time to repair for any solution. So as a solution provider for robotics, because it's not running as a standalone solution, we designed this to be 100% reliable and efficient and also available. Okay? But it depends at the end of the day also on our customers, how they operate the robotics. Are they equipped with the necessary skill sets in-house to deal with it or not? For mean time to repair, this depends on our service position in the market as a service provider, and this is really important for our customers. If you talk about Industry 4.0, digitalization is perfectly fitting within this. So we have this remote condition monitoring application for robotics. And we did a basic analysis, not only for robotics, but for other also products, that 90%, let's say 75% of failures sometimes happen due to software issues. And then you can remotely adjust this, tune it immediately to get it back into operation without a need for a site intervention or unplanned interruption from the production. So you have to tackle these 2 points: service position as a service provider, and also how you operate as an end user and the client.
I would like to add one extra point. It is a small point, but actually very important, which is the technicians and operators training. Actually, it is very essential.
I was just going to ask.
It is very essential and very important to give them the proper training and to give it to the experienced technicians and operators how to deal with this machine in the proper way. And of course, this will save a lot of time from the failure hours, and it will make the robot more efficient.
So what is the kind of education available? Are there specialized course in operating robots, or you go in with just an engineering degree? Training, is it provided by you all as the robot manufacturer, or is it with automation? If he's automated it with the machine, then the machine manufacturer has to provide that training. So how does the market attain these technical skills to be able to work in the future in your world of robotics?
We have a training center in Germany, so we basically, the 2 guys who are doing their booked all, I don't know, they are way in advance, so we have like 5 or 6 days training, basic programming, service, specialized training such as welding. They provide it in Germany, but of course we cannot cover all the people, especially our Middle Eastern network. So basically training the trainers to come here, we make sure that our people in the Middle East can train our customers here, since we really believe that the manufacturer, like you said already, to provide them with the know-how to handle the machinery, it makes it such a much better experience in the long run, and the robot will be much more efficient and effective. So by providing this also as a free service with the purchase, it's included by us because it's such an essential part.
I would say that we have to start with education evolution in universities, same as we did for automation at the early start of the automation journey. You need to educate the people differently in the engineering universities. That's the first step, to get them ready for the future. When it comes to application-specific training related to robotics, for us in ABB, we have authorized training centers across the globe. And according to the market mandate, we can deliver this as an integral part of the solution to our customers. We train the people and bring the level of knowledge up to a certain level where they can do at least the needed basic maintenance and the corrective actions needed on duty. And if they need to go to the next level of certification, this also we can do. And also we have to train our own engineers and our own service people and technicians to deliver these kind of services. So it's, I would say, a journey that we need to join forces in and work together to build.
Talking from Universal Robots perspective, this is one of our most probably very advantageous point that the simplicity of programming is very high. There is a online course called UR Academy that takes only just 2 hours to 3 hours of your time, where you, if you are done with it, you would be really able to operate the robot like 60 to 70%. Like it's very basic. Even it's the factory people, you don't really need an engineering degree to operate a universal robot. It's basic logic which many factory users are already using. So that is the point I would like to highlight.
I believe I've covered the questions that I'd already wanted to ask, but I'm out of the industry. And if you all have anything that you feel is prudent and you would like to discuss that, please feel free.
One of the areas I see, and maybe it comes up with soon, is presently the job is coming to the robo. And maybe in future the robo goes to the job. It could be on-site welding, it could be welding in different areas, so you don't have to do so much material and the robot can really go there and do the job. So most of the robots today which we are talking about are stationary or within a fixed parameter, but maybe it can move in future and find its own coordinates by itself. That would be interesting, mobile robots, just like autonomous cars and other things. We do have robots which weld in argon atmosphere for aircraft components, where the whole robo is within an argon.
In the marine field, many ships need to be welded underwater when they come in for maintenance. And that's quite a hazardous job. A diver has to be employed, he goes down and he works with welding and electricity below ground. So is there an option for that? Food for thought, gentlemen.
I have heard about one application where some robo was welding underwater tank which was having heavy water, which was this nuclear energy water. So that tank, you cannot empty it and it had to go inside.
Welded on site, yeah.
So there was something developed as a very special application for that, but not as a regular.
Sure. Just curiosity.
We're talking about the future of robotics, so improved kinematics, improved efficiency, smaller footprint. But a major factor we also notice is the artificial intelligence aspect. For example, at Kawasaki, we have a prototype right now of the successor system, which is a manual remote control for robots. For example, right now we have prototypes for painting and handling. And for example, for painting, you have a grip and you can manually spray paint a workpiece. But at the same time, you can teach through this, you teach it to the robots, and artificial intelligence improves on the movements and saves it. So this is one of the aspects where Kawasaki has made some movement in regards of artificial intelligence. So I'd like to ask my colleagues if you see where you see the future of artificial intelligence, and what kind of innovations you hold in store for that.
You will see robotics playing a role in a complete machinery and factory automation solution. And you will see robotics working with people. Robotics working with human beings, not replacing human beings. Thanks.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I hope the discussion was useful. Hopefully this will improve the market for robotics, and they will find your words most encouraging. Have a nice day and enjoy the rest of the show.
We thank you also, SteelFab, for organizing. And it's a nice exhibition, and
thank you.
We would like to come here again and again.
Thank you. We value your participation. Thank you very much.